What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a look at some good news for the One Piece TCG. We know the treasure rare from OP07 in English, which is kind of cool. And I want to start with something that, I thought it was something else. I saw this image, and I got super excited. Remember that Amazon tournament I told you about? Might have even been yesterday. I told you there was a tournament going on at the Amazon office over in Japan. I'll link the video in the description so you can go and check that out. But basically, there's a tournament going on at the Amazon office over in Japan. And there are various cool things that can be picked up if you attend this tournament. One of the things that wasn't on the website when I showed you the news yesterday, but has since been added this morning, this anniversary booklet. Now, don't get too excited, it's not what I thought it was. I looked at this, and I instantly thought it was a second anniversary book, like the one we had previously, the one that came with promos of Kaido and Luffy. I adore that book, it's so good, I picked it up, absolutely love it, cannot say enough good things about it. Incidentally, we saw, that got revealed, I saved a picture of that back in June 2023. In fact, 21st of June is when I saved a picture of this. So it's the 14th of June as I record. It is about time for them to start announcing a second anniversary book. That is what I thought this was. It is not. It is a second anniversary booklet, says it right there, but it is a booklet. And a booklet is not a book. It clearly doesn't have promo cards in because there's nothing there it says about. And it's clearly about starter deck 15 to 20. And it definitely is booklet. It uses the kanji for book and child, which when you match them together becomes booklet, little book. Very upsetting. But this is still available. There is still a booklet being given out at this Amazon event that I told you about yesterday, and it is a booklet about the 6 starter decks, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say I definitely still want this, and I will definitely be going out of my way to try and pick this up. It's cool. It's just not quite as exciting as we thought it might be. As a side note, though, we are about a week and a bit away from when we would be expecting the reveal of a proper second anniversary book. So even though this isn't the reveal of the book like I thought it might be, and yes, that does make me very sad, I do think it's fair to assume there might be one coming, and it might not be very far away. Just something to bear in mind. But there is a cool booklet coming out of this tournament in Japan, so if you want to pick it up, and I've been very clear that I do, it's out there. Now you know about it, and you can go and have a little bit of a look. Something more tangible that is now 100% confirmed, the treasure rare from OP07. It's Trafalgar Law. And the early responses from people online are not loving it as much as they could. Remember, this is only the second treasure rare that we've ever had. The first one was the Nami that we got in OP06. There was no treasure rare in EB01, remember, because that's a special set, not a main set. This is a card which wasn't released in the Japanese set, and we don't know this for certain, but appears to be exclusive to the English version of the game. I say appears to be because the Nami from OP06 was not released anywhere else. Similarly, the Boa Hancock that was in OP06 in China has not been released anywhere else. And remember, the treasure rare in China for OP07 was Rebecca. We have, for the second set in a row, 2 out of 2 now, we have a different treasure rare to China. OP06, we got Nami and China got Boa Hancock. OP07, we got Law and China got Rebecca. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say China beat us both times. I'm not trying to be that guy that's doing the whole grass is always greener thing. And hopefully by now, I am a very positive dude. But I'm sorry, I've just got to point out the Chinese treasure rares, 2 for 2, they're better than ours. I really want this Rebecca. I like Rebecca. I think Rebecca's a cool character. I want this treasure rare Rebecca. I think this Treasure Rare Rebecca is awesome. I don't really care about this lore. Like, I don't think it's a bad card. I just think it's aggressively meh, whereas I think the Rebecca is extremely cool. Now, it is a reprint of the Starter Deck 10 Trafalgar lore, which is a very cool card. It's 4 cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and it's got blocker, and we got on play, Don -1, if your opponent's got 7 or more cards in hand, trash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. It's really good at disrupting your opponent's hand, which is cool. Like, obviously, they've got to have a certain number of cards in hand, 7, for this to actually work. So it's not always actually going to work, but let's take away from that for a second. If you hit with this, it's really good at hurting your opponent's hand. It's a cool card. But once again, it's a treasure rare that people are just a little bit meh about. And I think at this stage, and again, we've only got 2 sets worth of sample size, right? But I do think it's fair to start saying our treasure rares are for us, China's treasure rares are for China, and Japan isn't getting them. We've had 2 sets now, OP06 and OP07. And for both of those sets, we have had a different treasure rare to China, and Japan hasn't had one yet. So, I'm not saying it's definitely going to stay like this forever, but I'm saying we've got enough information here to start making a sensible prediction that this is just the way it is, and that it's probably not going to change, at least in the near future. Could be wrong, absolutely could be wrong, but I do feel pretty confident about this. I don't think the times they are a-changing. So if you want this lore, go pick it up. If you want Rebecca, better head to China. I might legit try importing the Rebecca from the Boa Hancock. I think I can let go. The Rebecca, I really want that. I might just try importing it from China. One thing to remember, though. I always tell you guys not to buy singles on pre-release, and incidentally, that's still good advice. I know there are sometimes exceptions, but generally speaking, buying cards on pre-release is not ideal. But the thing is, we saw what happened to the Treasure Rare Nami. Remember that? Remember how people tried to pay lots of money for the Treasure Rare Nami, thinking it was going to be a new version like a manga rare? Remember how that happened? Remember how the early sales of this card, and here is an actual screenshot from eBay, early sales were up at like $250? Yeah. We're not there right now. The actual value of Treasure Rare Nami, and it's been a while at this stage, $50 card. It is the 15th most valuable card in OP06. And if we have a look at the graph, we can see that people started off trying to pay ridiculous prices. It dropped incredibly quickly, and it has settled as a, well, $50 card. And you know what? Yeah, it's about right. But the thing is, that's Nami. And I know people weren't all that keen on the artwork. That was a criticism that was going around. But does anyone really think that the lore is going to end up higher than the Nami? I don't. I would be stunned if lore ended up higher than a $50 card. Don't pay more than $50 for lore. But if you want a nice cheery story on which to end, I've got a nice cheery story on which to end this video. There's new One Piece TCG cans over at the official stores over in Japan. Yay! I believe these are in Japan only. I went to the One Piece store in Shinjuku in the Kabuchiko Tower, and I got one of these. And they're fine. They're really expensive for a can of drink, right? But they make a label. And literally, they're just blank cans of drink. And they print out a label with a card on. And they stick it to the drink. And that's it. I will say, when I went, I didn't get a coaster. And now they've got coasters. The coasters match the cans, just to be clear. So I'm all in on these now. When I went before, I did get a drink and I binned the can because I'm not dragging a dirty can around in my luggage. That was weird. Although it was cool to get a can with a One Piece card on. But a coaster, I'm not even kidding. I'm going to Japan for 3 days. And I'm going to see how, in August, I'm going to see how many of these coasters I can collect. Now, I will say some of these are a bit weird. The generic vanilla buggy is strange. I don't know why they've got that one. although it looks way better as a coaster than it does as a can. But they've got ones like Trafalgar Law and Dracula Mihawk and Boa Hancock and Gecko Moria that all look absolutely stunning. And you'll notice the names are on there in English. You've got Mihawk, Crocodile, Gecko Moria, we've got Kuma, we've got Hancock, we've got Jinbei, Doflamingo, Blackbeard, Law, Edward Weevil, and Buggy. And they're all available as coasters as well. And I'm in. Honestly, I like these. I think they're cool. And I will definitely be partaking when I'm in Japan. Am I going to be trying to collect the coasters? Yes. Sorry. Totally am. Right, there we go. We got the treasure rare from OP07 in English. We've got a tantalizing tease of an anniversary book, but remember there might be a new one coming in the not too distant future. And then we've also got a rather lovely look at these new cans. And that's what you needed to know. And I've told you now, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me how excited you are about these stories. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.